All right, so here we go. Good morning, y'all. Good to see you. My apologies for the delay. Let's just say life. That's just how it is. But I'm here, and it's better late than never. We're gonna jump into it because I got a little bit of time today, but we're gonna get through it. I want to talk about how to start freestyling. So this is basically for you if you are like, man, love freestyle rap, really want to be able to come off the top with it, just don't know where to begin. So I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk a little bit about my journey into it, and then I'll give you a couple approaches and hopefully help you figure out the best way for you to get started. So the best way for you to get started freestyle rapping. So let me know if you are watching this. Just say what's up in the chat, and I'll address questions as I go along here. But we're talking about how to start freestyle rap, and let's get into it, y'all. Okay, so bam. All right, so I'm thinking about it from this standpoint of your background. All right, so for myself, my background into just freestyling or even just like rap music in general, before I discovered rap, I think like one of the first CDs I ever purchased for myself, or at least my dad purchased for me, was the Brat Functified. And I already had a background in music. And what I mean by that is music was always playing in my house. The classics like Sam Cooke, Stevie Wonder, of course, gospel as well, because my dad was a preacher at the time, so I heard a lot of that. And then just from my own standpoint, in fifth grade, played the saxophone, and that was my band instrument. So that's where I got my musical training. And I'm saying all this, and I mean, I'm not going to dive into like my complete story with it, but by the time I found rapping, I had an understanding of what music is. I also had an understanding of just a feel for it. So I was not, I also had an understanding of just like what goes into making it. Sorry, my connection here is going to get a little funky. So excuse me for a second while I check my settings and make sure things work the way I need them to work. So I was able to really be able to figure out like, when we're talking about music, I experienced music, but beyond just having the experience of music, I was able to like learn about the notes and have an understanding of what the tempo was and what the beat was, and be able to like for me, finding a beat of a song was like never an issue. So that is kind of where my background became, where I started with this, right? And now what happens, I'm just trying to get the thing back up here. First, let's do this. So let me take care of that. All right. And make sure. Yep. Might have to look into that. Okay. Anyway, let me know if you're in the chat just to see if it's working. So my background with it is basically I already had a background in music. So fast forward to high school, and I'm into rap and I'm making beats, but not really rapping myself. But of course, I had the desire to rap and a desire to freestyle. And one of my main blocks for getting started was not really knowing what I would talk about, right? And so what allowed me to finally get started freestyling, didn't happen until college, was the realization that I could talk about what I was naturally into, and not just having to talk about what other rappers are talking about in order for it to be considered a good a good freestyle rap. So so I guess for one approach, at least what worked for me. So how I got started freestyle rapping was I found out what I really wanted to talk about, gave myself permission to talk about it, and then began to do it. Right. So that's how I started. It was giving myself permission to talk about what I wanted to talk about in the freestyle. And the music side of it, as far as knowing when to rhyme and being on beat, I didn't really have to. I didn't have a lot of learning around that was needed because I had a musical background already, right? Now that may not be you. You may not have that musical background, and yet you're still into the craft. And I think one of the beautiful things about rap as an art form is that the things that you need, like the prerequisites, the background that you need to get started, is it's a much lower bar than, like, let's say singing, for example, or even playing an instrument, right? So if you can speak, you can rap, right, and get involved with it. So that is why I like it. It's pretty accessible for everybody. Sorry, y'all. I'm just, again, it's me like controlling the stream controllers as well as trying to present the stream. But we're going to get through it. We're going to knock it out. Okay, so kind of taking you through this little diagram that I have. So the best way to get started, I think, if you have a music background, you understand what the tempo is, you have an experience with it, you understand what a beat is, you have no problem for a song playing for you to be able to nod your head to it. If you can do that, then your best way is to just start. And then I would say starting with, let's see. So if you have a background in music, I would say you want to start by simply, I like this approach too, where it is, I'm going to call it like your gibberish raps. And what this allows you to do, if you have a background in music and you want to freestyle, you play a beat and then you just allow yourself to say whatever comes to your mind, because your musical background won't allow you to get off beat because you have that. Your ability to rhyme, that may or may not be as polished, even with a musical background, but you'll have the main thing you'll have with a musical background is your ability to stay on beat. And I think that's the key in freestyle rapping, is your ability to stay on beat. So it sounds more like a rap if I started to speak with rhythm and not rhyme than if I were to just rhyme without rhythm. So speaking with rhythm sounds more like a rap. And so if you're trying to learn how to freestyle rap, you can, grab an article, a paper, a magazine, just anything that's in front of you, and play an instrumental and just like read the article to the beat. And of course it's going to feel weird and awkward, but what you're learning how to do is just speak with rhythm over the track and then just letting ideas flow. And so that's kind of with, if you have a musical background. I'll say now, if you're inexperienced in music and you're kind of coming at it from this standpoint of like, you fall in love with the lyrics, the words of rap. So you're really interested in like the wordplay, the rhymes, and the content. Most likely you'll have an experience with music, right? Obviously, you know what music is and you've heard it, but actually being able to make your own beats and, be able to talk about like theory and all that stuff is going to escape you. So your ability to be able to speak to the beat might be a little bit behind. So I think if you're coming at it from the standpoint of the words, right, and not the music, I think gibberish rapping is still a good approach there as well. Meaning you just, you put on a beat and you just start rapping to your best ability, talking about whatever comes up. But I think some other things to start thinking about is if you're coming at it from a standpoint of no musical background and you understand the words and you have some understanding of what a rhyme is, like you know it when you hear it, but you might have some trouble putting them together. I think doing simple rhymes is a good start, where you make a list of rhyming words and then begin to create sentences to end with each rhyming word. And this is like something that I actually practice with when I teach rap to like all my students. So not just like students who are like really into rap, but like just my basic English classes. And I'm like, hey, we're doing I'm teaching you the rap form of poetry. This is something that I'll do. So I'll play this game where I'll say like, all right, think of something that rhymes with cat. And you see me do this in a video, right? And then, they'll say bat, hat, all those things. Bat, hat, tat, right? And so what you can begin to do, and there's so many tutorials on this, is like you create just little phrases that end with the word. So like, there's a cat, and we'd be super simple. We can go, there's a cat, there's a bat, there's a hat. There's not so much there's a tat, but you could say something like rat-a-tat, rat-a-tat-tat, something like that. All right. And if you just say these phrases, right, there's a cat, there's a bat, there's a hat, rat-a-tat-tat, there's a natural pulse and rhythm that just happens when you kind of say those phrases. And so you just kind of keep playing this game where, again, simple rhymes work. So, blue, shoe, moo, goo, and then you just start coming up with little sentences that end with the N word. That is blue. Look at my shoe. Cow goes moo. Stepped in goo. Right. So you start doing this, and then the next level of this is actually taking it to a beat. And so that's when you'll start thinking about the beat that's playing. Now in the freestyle blueprint, I kind of break all this stuff down, and those who are join and become members will have access to that course. But, for your most basic, quick covering, every instrumental, for the most part, if we're not getting complex with it, will have your basic kind of 1, 2, 3, 4 that is marking the pulse of the song, that consistent. So best way to start with freestyling is lining up your rhymes on the 4th beat, the last beat of, I'm going to say the bar, and I'm trying not to get too technical in the theory side of it. But essentially you have 1, 2, 3, blue, 1, 2, 3, shoe, 1, 2, 3, moo, 1, 2, 3, goo. And so when I'm playing this game with my students, literally how we do it is like, all right, so think of your rhyming words for blue. and I'll go 1, 2, 3, blue, and then I'm gonna count 1, 2, 3, and then on the last 4 you say a rhyming word, right? And so what that starts to train people to do is synchronize the rhymes with time, with your space and time. So you practice that, and then the next step is adding your small phrase before that. So you have like 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, that is blue. 1, 2, look at my shoe. 1, 2, cows goes moo. 1, 2, step dingo. Right? And you keep just doing this with, simple rhymes. So you make a list of rhymes and then go do it again. 1. So if it's like 1, let me go with a different one. Fun. 1, 2, having fun. 1, 2, warmth of the sun. 1, 2, weighs a ton. 1, 2, you better run. You can just keep doing that. You can even, like, if you notice I'm doing this without a beat, right? You can do it like this without a beat. At least what you're doing is establishing your ability to speak with rhythm to a pulse. So even if you don't have an instrumental around, you can just do this game of like 1, 2, say a simple rhyme. 1, 2, do it all the time. 1, 2, listen to the chime. 1, 2, freestyles will shine. Like, you can just keep doing that game. And eventually, right, you'll be able to get more complex with it. You'll be able to make more sense and put the stuff together. So that's what will allow your freestyling to get you going with it. All right. And let's see. So the main thing as far as how to get started freestyling rapping is just you got to do it. Right. And then as you do it, you'll learn what your barriers are, and then then that's where you can start your exploration on like how to improve those barriers. Right. So let's say you're doing gibberish raps and you notice that you just tend to get off beat, like you get feedback like, yeah, man, you just keep getting off beat. Then you start looking into, all right, how do you stay on beat? And there's some tips and tricks for that as well. If you have a trouble coming up with rhymes, so you're doing gibberish raps and you notice you're not rhyming at all, then there are some tips for you to be able to improve your rhyming, but you're able to stay on beat. But I will also say that if you're really trying to get better at freestyling, it needs to become a habit. Let me just get to this part. So it needs to become a habit, and how you make it a habit is that you need to do small actions every day. And if you're really about it, track it, like create a visual tracker for yourself. So basically, a calendar, right? Every time you freestyle, mark a little X, and then don't break the chain. And then eventually you'll notice that your skills will improve. All right. And are you? So let's see. Right over there. I'm going to push this live one more time just to see if this is working. All right. So if you're checking this out, let me know in the chat. I might have this set up to unlisted or something, and that's why no one's watching it, but that's okay. It'll be available after I'm done with it. So let me kind of I felt a little rambly today about it, but I'm going to make it clear. So the two approaches that I like, and I'm going to set it up here, and I'm going to type it out because so I think I gave you 3 approaches actually without really recognizing it. So ways to start. Let's get in here. Ways to start freestyle rapping. So ways to start freestyle rapping. So one way is just literally gibberish raps. Right? Another way is going to be, and this is counterintuitive, but it's just like read. I'll just call it reading with we'll just call it reading with rhythm. Because what that will get you into is like improvising rhythms, which is the skill that people underestimate in freestyling. Is the fact that you also have to create rhythms to be able to match these patterns. And then last would be the I call it the rhyme game, but let's just say we'll just call it a list of rhymes. So make a list of rhymes and then create simple meanings. Count out your own tempo, and that's how you can get started. And main point is just do it every day. And I would say, I think the research is if you do it every day for at least 21 days, it starts to become a habit. So probably have a goal of like 21 days straight. All right. So I think that is good for now. One last little anecdote to kind of make this point stick is there's a study that's been done where this professor basically he has a photography class, and he divides his class up into two, I think. And half the class gets, basically, they get this assignment. It's like, look, to get your passing grade or your A for this course, all you have to do is take one photo, but the photo has to be, high quality, has to meet these parameters for a high quality photo. Then the other half of class, he was like, how you're going to pass is you're going to make sure you take at least, and I'll just throw this out there, at least 100 photos before the end of the semester, right? And so half the class is like literally, it's just about the quantity. Professor does not care about the quality of those photos, just they have to get to at least 100. And the other half of the class is like, all you have to do is take one photo, but the quality has to be at an A level. So you get to the end of the semester, and what the study shows is that the people that took more photos, not focusing on quality, actually had the better quality photos than the students who just tried to take one photo or as few photos as possible. And so the lesson from that is the more you do it, the better you'll improve, the better your quality will be. And the other piece of it is that drive that we have when we start out something to be good, feel competent, to feel like I can do this, and to meet like that level of taste that we have for like what a good freestyle is or what a good rap is. We actually have to throw that out the window if it's stopping us from doing the work. So if you find yourself feeling unmotivated because like when you're freestyling it doesn't feel good and you don't feel like you know what you're doing, then you don't freestyle the next day, then you're never going to get better at it, right? But if you say, you know what, I'm just going to let myself practice and it'll be what it is. I'm not worried about it sounding whack. And I've said this in other videos, I'm going to say it again. It's like you got to give yourself permission to be whack when you're learning how to freestyle, because when you give yourself permission to be whack, you give yourself permission to keep trying and do it again. And the more you do it, the better you will become, until a point where you have more experience and you're no longer whack by, any objective standard. Other people may not, people will have their taste about what kind of style that they like when people are freestyling. But as far as your ability to be able to do it and that won't be questioned, right? People will be, oh yeah, you freestyle. I don't necessarily like your style of it, but you can do it. So give yourself permission to learn, give yourself permission to be whack in the beginning, say whatever, just keep doing it every day and build it up from there. So in the comments, let me know if you have any questions about freestyling, how you got started. Also, let me know if you have any tips and guidance on how you got started freestyling. So, all right, tomorrow I'm taking off. Tuesday's my day off. I'm going to try to do some strategy and some planning and, do some of my other things I got to do around here. And I think we're kind of getting into the last week of my May morning flows. So I have some ideas for June, so I'll keep you updated on that. Let's see. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you made it this far, because hey, you are into deep diving into this content. You're not just about the quick tips. And again, become a member of the channel. You could just click join and you'll get access to premium content. That freestyle blueprint, I'm actually going to start posting that series today for members to check out because freestyling people have been asking me about that a lot. So I want to provide that foundation for the members of the channel. So it's just $4.99 a month. You support the channel and you'll help me improve the production quality of all this, because right now it's a one-man shop, just me holding it down. But as we get more people to support the channel, then I'll be able to start putting the team together, because teamwork makes the dream work. All right, y'all. Until next time, just remember, it's not about perfection. It is about connection. And I will see y'all next time.